To order at 9:01. I'm a whole minute late. AM. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
And before we do that, would
Yes.
you mind just announcing her and a refresh, please?
Oh, yeah, please refresh. We've had some jostling around in the last few minutes.
Thank you so much. Okay. All right.
Good morning.
Erickson Galt, here. Joliet,
Walk it in.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh, there she is.
Yeah, Bob's right
Excellent
behind me.
Blues is in. Kristen Nelson is absent with notice. Taylor,
Here.
Hoffman,
He should be here in
oh,
a second.
Spiz,
Present.
Johnson.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you
I'm
very much.
sitting in on this meeting,
Oh,
Tracy.
I'm sorry, yes,
That's okay.
I did see you down there.
Present.
You're not actually just.
Hi, kids.
Oh, there.
Thanks. Oh, sorry, I almost impaled you. We do need more space back here. This
Yes.
is not conducive to. All right, folks, would you please kindly join me in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight? I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes dated April 2nd, 2024, moved by Commissioner Joliet, seconded by Commissioner Erickson Galt. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The minutes have been approved. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda. The agenda is the digital one in front of you. If you have I'm the only one with a paper copy. All right, well, moved by Commissioner Gershenson, seconded.
Oh, no, I had a comment.
Comment, go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to pull the hybrid work policy update to discuss.
Oh, yeah, we'll just, yeah. Did you want it somewhere else
Well,
on the agenda?
if you are approving the agenda, you don't change it at that point, or?
If you want to, I mean, if you wanna move it to regular, is that
Well, I
what
mean,
you're?
we can leave it where it is if we can discuss it.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any other agenda things? All right, was that a motion to move the agenda, yes?
Yeah.
Seconded by Commissioner Taylor. All in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The agenda's been approved. We'll have public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to address us on anything on the agenda right now? No, we'll come back to you later. Yeah, thank you though. All right, moving on from public comment then. Our first communications item is this second quarter report on appointments. Anyone have any discussion on that?
So there were two that were,
There are two, but we'll do them one at a time there.
okay.
Commissioner?
Do we get an update on commissioners' attendance on some of these committees that they're assigned to? That I think at this point, if we're reviewing them, we should know that it's working for somebody.
I would personally.
Do you want
We typically do reach out to the chair of the boards to, provide input on members that are currently on the,
How often do we do that?
typically when we're getting ready to reappoint.
Reappoint,
Yeah.
right, so this is kind of a halfway point, right?
Okay, yeah. So you're, okay. So you're saying you want
I do, I'd like,
from, okay.
thank you.
Commissioner Spiz, I saw your hand.
I was just gonna make a comment. I said, personally, we're all elected officials and professionals. I would expect if somebody has an issue with any appointments, they would make that known when they're being appointed, but I understand your request from a attendance standpoint. That's just my take. Maybe I'm different than most, but, because if I couldn't do it, I'd tell you I couldn't do it.
You're just a good public servant right there. Any other comments on this, Commissioner Taylor?
Question, this is the first time for me seeing this, so what is the purpose? I mean, I know that you're telling us who's appointed, but is there any other purpose for this report?
So this one is appointments that are expiring in the next quarter, so this is the committee that does the appointments. So if we have anticipated vacancies coming up, it's just good to have that on our radar so we can solicit who's interested in whatever. You'll see a lot of these are commissioners who are appointed to various things, so for instance, I learned this morning that I'm an alternate for Commissioner Markham at SEMCOG. I have never once been to a SEMCOG meeting, but I'm glad that I'm an alternate, not an actual delegate for that. So that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I looked at it, but I thought you were only trying, because of the two dates, the two people that's expiring. One is already expired, one in April, and then there's one coming up, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. So we have to look at people, or are we gonna be? And I'm sorry, this is my first time seeing
No,
this, so I
all
don't
good.
know.
Can I make a comment on the jury board appointment?
Okay.
This is a recommendation from the circuit court.
Okay.
And I've talked to them, and they do not have a candidate at this point to replace the previous person.
Mhm.
So I've been in communication with them to give me some updates, but so far I don't have an update.
Okay. Okay.
Do
Thank you.
we receive and file this one?
Yes.
Any other feedback, comments? I would entertain a motion, and I realize I did this out of order, to receive and file this communication item.
You wanna just do this one?
Commissioner Luce moves that, and it's seconded by Commissioner Taylor. I'm just gonna voice vote that one. All in favor of receiving and filing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That's been received and filed. Thank you very much. Moving on to communication B. And I'll do the motion first this time. So I would entertain a motion to receive and file the hybrid workplace policy, moved by Commissioner Loop, seconded by Commissioner Harrison Galt. Discussion. Marcia.
So would you like to come up and talk to us about it? And how it's going, so verbally? But I do wanna thank you for the report, because very interesting information.
So just by way of background, some of you may recall that the hybrid workplace policy was set to sunset last fall. And so the board accepted our suggestion that we continued on for another year. There were some modifications made to the policy at that time to have more specific requirements of department work plans to provide some continuity across departments who choose to use hybrid work. There was also a requirement that we return 6 months in to let you know how it's going, and more importantly, the results of some engagement with our workforce, and also our progress on the equity piece of it, the inclusive benefits analysis that we're undertaking. This is one component of a year-long project about inclusive benefits and looking at our entire complement of benefits across the organization, but this is one piece of the puzzle. So that's just by way of background why we're here today with a 6-month update report of how it's going. So if it pleases the committee, I will go ahead and just.
If I may, just
Yeah.
quickly, I know, just see a few commissioners, I just thought we'd do quick introductions.
Oh, yeah.
Commissioners, my name is Sunil Siege, I am the HR director, and this is,
I'm Heather Van Pooker, I'm the deputy director of HR.
just thought we'd clear that up first.
Sorry, sit down and just start going.
Always good to know.
With the extension of the hybrid work policy through this October, we did hold some informational sessions with department leadership, and we had great engagement. We reached almost 100 people in 2 different sessions to walk departmental leaders through the requirements of their departmental work plans, and also the intent of the policy, and respond to questions that they may have. So that was really helpful. And we've received those work plans from everyone who's utilizing hybrid work, and those are available through a link. I'm sorry it wasn't a hyperlink, but that was not possible, but there is a magical J drive that should be accessible and open to everybody. If you wanna go look at any particular department's work plan, it will hit all of the requirements that are within the policy itself. So they need to identify which classifications are eligible for hybrid work, how they're gonna monitor customer service impacts, operational impacts, all of that little laundry list of what needs to go into their work plan. We were really pleased to see the time, effort, and detail that went into these work plans. So I think that was a good step forward. Then we undertook survey. So we surveyed all employees that work hybrid, and then we did in-person focus groups. We extended an invitation across the workforce, and we really wanted to hear from people who maybe do not work hybrid. what they think about it. And so we had good engagement there. We had a great response rate, 84% to the survey that went out to the hybrid workforce. And then we had 44 employees attend those in-person listening sessions with us. And I've summarized the findings there. You know, not surprisingly, people who work hybrid like working hybrid. I think what's interesting though is the number of days a week that we found. The vast majority of hybrid employees are working 1 or 2 days a week. Some are working 3. A very small fraction work more than that hybrid.
Does that mean coming in 1 or 2, or that means working 1 or 2?
That means working remotely 1 or 2.
Okay.
So they're in office for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't feel that was clear. I wasn't
Okay.
sure if you meant,
Thank
okay,
you for
well, they're
that.
only working 1 or 2
Yeah.
days. I didn't get it. But
Thank you for that point. I'll clarify that when we come back in October. But yeah, so most departments, people are only remote 1 or 2 days a week, some of them 3. What's interesting about the departmental work plans is a lot of them specify collaboration days where people need to all be in the office together on the same day, for example. So you'll see that in some of the plans. Again, not surprisingly, there's a lot of, impact on job satisfaction, productivity, efficiency, morale. Communication seems to be solid. I think people have, kind of scaled up their skill sets of how to work remote best. But we did not identify significant impact negative on operations. Departmental leadership didn't indicate that they were struggling in any particular areas. And then the focus group themes that were interesting were really the on-site employees are kind of desperate for more work-life balance and more flexibility where it's possible. So that will be a unique challenge to us as we look at this inclusive benefits analysis and work that we're doing. How can we as an employer position ourselves going forward for the workforce of the future, right? Which really highly values this flexibility and work-life balance. How can we do that within the reality of the services that are being delivered in unique departments? So that's part of what we're working through with the benefits analysis piece. But I think it's less people who aren't working hybrid don't want it to exist. They want more flexibility. They want better work-life balance. I think one of the other agenda items that you have before you today is the healthy workplace policy. So that's one example of a way that we extended some additional, flexibility to people who are on site. So if they find themselves ill with a highly contagious illness, they're not having to draw against their time off banks. Because one of the things that we heard through the focus groups too is hybrid workers maybe have more flexibility to run to the dentist on a lunch hour, to use a couple hours at the end of a day to start some leave time early. And so they're kind of craving some more of that flexibility. The other important new requirement that was in the updated policy was around training, and we've launched that. So anyone who's working hybrid must take, how to work effectively in a remote work environment as an employee. And then also any supervisors and managers that oversee a hybrid staff need to also take training about how to best manage. Because, when you're working with remote staff, you need to manage to outcomes more than what you might do in terms of, how many widgets are you making? You're kind of more about, are you accomplishing the work that's been assigned? Do you understand what you need to accomplish? Is it being done consistently and on time? And so that management training is an important piece too. So that's been deployed, and we're looking for people to complete that by the end of May. So when we come back to in the fall, we'll have some more information about how we did there. Again, the inclusive benefits analysis is underway. That should be completed by the fall. It's a comprehensive look. Hybrid is one piece of it. Some preliminary findings that we thought were pretty interesting, but maybe not, that revolutionary, are that demographics really are influenced in this hybrid work, that more likely hybrid workers tend to be female, married with children, Gen X and millennials. The thing that I found interesting too, though, is that our workforce, BIPOC, so our overall the workforce is 11.7, but those working hybrid are 15%. So there's a higher uptake on hybrid and remote work among our BIPOC workforce. And we're seeing hybrid work used most commonly in professions where you would expect that to be. IT, finance, public health uses it quite a bit. And then this kind of, indication from those who are not working remote of all their preferences that we asked in the initial benefit survey, what is most important to you, what do you most want to see? I think number 1 was pet insurance, but number 2 and number 3 were flexibility at work, flexible and remote work options. So again, we've already implemented the healthy workplace policy that we think brings some equity solution for people who are on site 100%. And also we clarified our inclement weather policy so that that is applied only to those who are 100% on site as well.
Cool. Commissioner?
Great job.
Okay.
Wow, that's pretty impressive that you covered all that. Couple questions. So people that cannot work hybrid, it's been determined that that position is not able to work hybrid.
Correct. The departmental work plans identify which classifications are eligible for hybrid work and which are not.
Okay.
So it's the
So
classification.
those are, I was wondering so did you imply that those people wish we didn't have hybrid because they'd like everybody in,
They really wish that they had more flexibility.
that they had more flexibility? Okay, and just for the record, I am a big supporter of pet insurance.
We're not alone.
Ranked pretty high on that one.
Commissioner Taylor's next, but I just have one quick question on something that you said, Commissioner. Flexibility, are we talking about when people can have lunch, that kind of thing?
So right now, some departments utilize a 410, for example, as an option. But there are other things that could be explored, like flexible start and stop times, like using a shortened lunch break to, attend to an appointment that you may need to leave early for. So there are, more expansive options that could be explored and that we will be doing through the inclusive benefits work. And we'll have a very comprehensive set of recommendations in the fall.
But for what it's worth, I worked in Spain for a bit, and yes, this was heavily influenced by how the Spaniards work, but we rolled in at 10:30, had 2-hour lunches, didn't leave until 7:30 at night. And honestly, I love that. I'm a much more productive nighttime worker than I am early morning worker. Well, all right, and there are a lot of people who are, but that worked out really well for me. So I definitely appreciate the desire for flexibility. Commissioner Taylor.
No, thank you, because I did have a few questions. And that was one of them, was flexibility to them, but thank you. And I'm in favor of this, and I really love it. I love how you presented it. I love the inclusiveness. I love how you bring it to the departments for them to decide what's best for them, and then your communication with the employees. Questions. Has this been to corporate council?
I believe the original policy was routed through.
And the reason I ask that is that we had a situation where an employee used the hybrid time to do their other job. They were a lawyer, but they were saying they were working for us, and they were actually in court, doing court cases and other things. And we found out on the other end, but we didn't have that built into our policy. We had nothing signed off saying that, and that's where the flexibility came in. The hours that you would be required on a day, so, and were there things in place to ensure that happens, or if you ran into a case where somebody was abusing it, you had something to stand on. Other than morality, it's wrong.
So the policy did not modify our core required hours. And what's really cool is our new workday system offers us the capacity to have people sign off annually that they've reviewed, received, and part of that training component is to review and sign off on the policy so that they know and understand it. So if we did discover that someone was abusing that, we could take immediate and serious action.
Okay, so that's in there. And have you looked at what other counties are doing, other cities and that kind of thing?
Yes.
And the number of workers that are here on site, I didn't see that number in here. How many, other than managers, supervisors, and those kinds of things, I just mean
We currently have 639 employees have their hybrid work scheduled within our Workday system and have signed off on receipt of the policy and our hybrid remote.
But the total number of employees.
Oh, it's around 3,200 full-time.
Oh, no, what I was saying was the ones that's here 100% that cannot utilize the hybrid system.
So you're gonna make me do math in my head.
No,
So it would be 3,200 minus 6, yeah.
I don't,
Okay.
you don't have to do that.
Okay.
It's just, I was just curious because other than manager, supervisor, I just wanted to know you, because it was mentioned a few times how, and even given percentages, that the people that are working full-time, their only concern, which I've never met a person that didn't want the flexibility and the hybrid time. I've never met an employee yet that was against that. But I didn't know the number that were here, like in a department, if there's 10 people and 2 have to be here every single day, what are their feelings compared to the other ones that are here 3 days, 4 days, or what have you? That's all. But it's not a major topic. I am totally in favor of this, and I like the approach that you have and the inclusiveness that you're using, not just, it's not from the top down. You're including everybody, which I really like. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Any other questions, comments, questions? Awesome, Madam Clerk, could you please prompt the vote to receive and file? And you two just get comfortable, because you'll be here for a while.
Yes. Erickson Galt,
Yes.
Gershenson.
Yes.
You have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you very much, everyone. Moving on to presentations then, and I'll just say, our first interview is in just under 10 minutes. I'm gonna try to whip through the rest of this agenda, but feel free to knock it out of the park with this presentation. Oh, I'm sorry. I would entertain a motion to receive and file the presentation. Moved by Commissioner Juliet, seconded by Commissioner Spitz. All right, go for it.
Can you pull up the report document?
You're trying to say it's trees, so I didn't print all these out.
Thank you.
Good job. Yes.
So I gotta be honest, I've been here probably a little over a year, and the first thing we talked about is change, right? So that's what I tried to do with our department. I am so proud of our department, what we did. We focused a lot on customer service. In the past, that was not as obvious as possible, so what we did is we really focused on helping the customers, and I'll say other departments out there, become better and be supportive. So we put together this beautiful annual report, and it just really shows how much work we did in a year. We're not gonna flip through everything, but we can go to page 2, which has my beautiful picture on it.
Is the hyperlink?
There is a hyperlink if you go to the
Please.
item, yeah.
The
Yep.
first page.
And if you flip through it, it's like a little
Yeah.
book.
And it makes that noise.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys love that noise. Love it or hate it.
Can mute it.
So as you can see, we did a lot of work this past year, and I'm so proud of what the team has decided and what we've gone through, and we fit in our strategic goals. We mirrored it with all the 8 goals that the county has and all our KPIs. And just really focusing on how we're trying to help the county out there and become better servants, I guess, and make sure that each department is better. Heather did a great job explaining about the wellness, talked about the benefits, talked about how we're trying to do hybrid, and that's our focus. We are gonna continue every year to strive to be better and better, and again, our focus has always been customer service. And I'm so proud of this. I want you guys to go through it and take a look and get your thoughts on it. Everything's in there that we did, so just very proud of what we've done.
I am too. It's absolutely beautiful. And I can't wait to comb through it. Any
Please.
questions, discussion? It does make that fun noise when you turn the page.
Mute it.
You can mute it.
All right, well, the motion on the table is to receive and file.
Oh, no, I was just saying, making the motion.
Would you please prompt the vote?
Oh, you got that.
And April, if at any point you want to join and talk about anything, you're welcome.
They're amazing.
They are, yeah.
Hit it off. It's my adult children.
Yes, yes.
Juliet,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you very much, that's been filed. Moving on to our regular agenda then, I would entertain a motion to recommend to the board, item A, healthy workplace policy update and recommendation. Moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Juliet. Hello again.
Hello.
So we have provided you with an update on how healthy workplace policy has been going. As you know, this policy ended April 1st. So what we're asking is that we go ahead and lift that end date. It's gone incredibly well. The numbers are on here in terms of which departments, how many instances we've seen people use this. It's, from what we can tell, not been abused. The numbers are actually surprisingly lower than we thought they would be, which means that's great. People are staying healthier. And we've not heard from departments that there's been negative impact in terms of their ability to staff and cover schedules. This really achieves a couple critical things. One, it keeps sick people out of the workplace so that we are keeping one another safe and the public we serve safe. Number two, it's really offering, again, the people that are 100% on site and don't have a choice to work remote, it's offering them a little more flexibility so they're not dipping into their own personal leave times and having to use that. Because then they're in a tough spot and they might say, I'll pop a Tylenol and go to work even though I have a fever. We don't want to put people in that situation. So these up to three additional days with a positive test, I think really helps a couple important things. So that is what is before you, as well as expansion to part-time. I know that when this originally came before the board, that was a question. I would highlight for you that in the merit rule, we have two different categories of part-time. One is part-time not eligible, PT&E, because we love, alphabet soup in government, and then the other part-time eligible. So the merit rule precludes us from providing benefits, including paid leave time, to PT not eligible. So in this policy, it would extend healthy, this policy and those up to 3 additional days for only the part-time benefit eligible classified staff.
Questions, comments? Commissioner Lubes.
Wait, did you notice where people obtained their testing from? Was it the health department or their private physician?
We did not track that, but we could because they've had to submit it, so it's been submitted to their employment file.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Juliet.
I was reading through the changes and it, on the second page, you struck out work from home when symptomatic, and then you struck out or positive for flu, RSV, or COVID. But you just mentioned with the positive.
That's because the CDC updated its guidelines. And so their recommendations are more based around that symptom. It's within 24 hours of having a fever. It kind of feels more like if you've read school policies about stay home. So they've created a more uniform recommendation for how to manage symptoms with regard to COVID and flu. And it's more, and RSV, and it's more about your symptoms.
So then it's not required to have a positive test.
Well, if you're working remote, no, because you don't get access to these additional days.
Okay, oh, I see.
Yeah.
Part-time.
Yeah.
Off, okay, or use of remote. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner.
Just want to clarify that. So what you just stated is if you have a hybrid work program, you're not eligible for this.
Correct.
Okay, because that was key for me, because if you're already at home.
Exactly.
Okay.
But and this policy suggests that remote and people who have access to remote is an option, that there be some flexibility so that they can stay home and stay productive if they are symptomatic. Because we don't want people coming to the workplace with their fever. That makes sense.
Thank you. Do employees have sick days now?
They get 5 PTO days and then they get their vacation time.
Okay.
It's all jumbled.
No, they have 8.
Any other discussion? I was just curious if you had any thoughts on which departments were utilizing them. I see the sheriff department is by far the biggest user, with Children's Village coming in second place. Oh no, WRC comes in second place. But just kind of curious if you had any thoughts about that kind of instance.
I guess it's what we would expect. The people that are working in closer quarters are gonna, maybe get sick more frequently or working more directly with the public. But again, it really requires, it's a high bar. You have to produce that positive test or you're not tapping into these extra days. What I thought was cool is that the average was under 3 days. So you can see people aren't using the full 3. They're using the time for when they need it to be home to keep everyone else safe.
Commissioner Erickson, go.
Thank you, Chair. Remind me, my understanding from when we reviewed this before was the employees have an option for getting the testing at no cost to themselves. Is that accurate?
Through the health department.
Okay, so they don't have to incur co-pays or
Correct.
or make an appointment with their personal physician.
Correct.
Okay.
Commissioner Taylor.
I have a question, and I think this is the topic. I can't get to the details that I looked at home on here, but it was on page 23, the second paragraph. It was talking about a doctor's note, and then there says that it wouldn't accept a note from the doctor. I think you meant to say notes from the doctor. You would accept the doctor note, but not the, I don't know. That's why I wanted to click.
This policy requires the positive test.
Okay, so maybe I'm,
So I think when we crafted the policy, what we heard from, because we took input from a lot of our departmental partners, and some of them expressed concerns that if we accepted a doctor's note attesting to the positivity, that could be a slippery slope. I hate using that phrase. So we really thought it was cleanest to just require the test itself.
okay. Is this the one that had the 55 pages?
No, the policy is just a couple pages. That's the annual report,
There may be
the flip, yeah.
no?
I don't know. But it was the one with the red and drawing through it.
Yep.
And it said it would not accept the doctor's note,
Correct.
and that's what you're referring to.
Yes, to access these 3 additional days, you need the positive test.
Okay, is this the one that had NPH days?
Yes,
And what does NPH stand for?
non-productive hours. This was it's boring, it's in our payroll system. It's already an existing way that we can extend additional time.
No, I understand. I just didn't, again, I'm new.
Yeah.
He probably told us 500 times somewhere else, but
It's okay.
I didn't. Okay, thank you.
Anything else on this? No? Clerk, would you please prompt the vote?
You have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving right along. Oh, and that's the end of you two. Thank you very
All right.
much.
I'm so happy about that.
All right, moving right along, I would entertain a motion to recommend to the board item B, resolution establishing the Tri-County Behavioral Health Task Force. Moved by Commissioner Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Lukes. And welcome, our very own Mike Andrews.
Hello, good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We have a resolution in front of you stemming from the Tri-County Summit from this past September. And I can kind of give a little bit more background on Tri-County Summit to some of the newer commissioners, a little bit offline, because I know that you are kind of stressed for time a little bit, so.
But just like 10 seconds.
What I would say is that the major charge of this task force that will be presented to all 3 commissions or boards, Wayne County, Macomb, and Oakland. This exact same resolution would be that they examine the methods to share behavioral health information. Sorry, I'm reading directly from the recap that you have in front of you. And then through the existing health information networks, and then solicit additional ideas for addressing behavioral health systems within the justice systems themselves. So again, this would be a task force that would hopefully get some updates back to the Tri-County Summit that we have scheduled for October. There's a tentative save the date right now, so there is, the 3 staffs are working to get some ideas and talking points for the upcoming Tri-County Summit, and this would be kind of a wrap up to a 2022 effort that Commissioner Lubes and Commissioner Rahman sat on with behavioral mental health and everything like that, so. There has been some reach out to the court systems here, OCHN, community corrections, just to gauge interest on people who would be willing to attend on the task force, provide some insight and everything in that manner, just so that we can kind of keep this moving. The task force first meeting is scheduled for May 10th. So we hope to have some appointees at the next meeting on the 24th from the board for Oakland County's representation.
Discussion, feedback, Commissioner?
I think it's an important piece. What was revealed was 75% of our kids involved in juvenile justice have mental health issues compared to 20% of the population. So
75%,
It's not surprising.
that's high.
so it is important to address, and it's long overdue.
It's not just the children, though, it's everybody.
Yes,
It's across the board.
I have
That's fine.
I have one boy who's a state trooper and one boy who's a prison guard. I do have other kids, but my kids commonly joke that because I'm a social worker, they say, if you don't do your job, I have to arrest them. And the other one says, and then I have to take care of them. So.
That's all on you.
Yeah, thank you.
Come on, Mom.
Anything else on this one? All right, well, Madam Clerk, please prompt that vote. And thank you for your work on that panel. It was a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Biz,
Yes.
you have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Awesome, thank you very much. Churning right along, we'll move on to item C, which is a resolution requesting the legislature support increased funding for 211 in fiscal years 2025. I would entertain a motion to recommend to the board, moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Gershenson. All right, would you like to pop up to the front?
Sure. Be very quick, I know you guys don't have time.
I appreciate you coming in, yeah.
Thank you for having me, and it's so great to be here, and again, I just want to thank everyone for your partnership with United Way for Southeastern Michigan. My name is Amanda Klein, I'm the Manager of Advocacy and Government Relations. I am here just hoping that you all can support this resolution. This resolution has been sent to Washtenaw, Wayne, the city of Detroit, Oakland, and we are also working on getting a resolution sent to Lapeer, which is in our service area for 211, not necessarily our direct service care. So we are hoping that, our Oakland County Commissioners can support this. This is a statewide request, the $7 million, so it would be for the entire 211 statewide network. Obviously, we are home to 4 million people in Southeast Michigan, so we know a lot of the resources would hopefully come our way, where we can not only expand, I think, the outreach for 211, but also our social navigation program, which has been extremely successful at our United Way. So we're not just doing the information and referral. When folks are calling 211, we can actually walk them through some of those really tricky, complicated, DHHS applications and making sure that we're getting them enrolled for healthcare, for food, if they're looking for rental assistance. So we really like to, with the dollars that our United Way region would receive, be able to expand that social navigation program. So the $7 million statewide, we're hoping that again, our region would receive a significant portion of those dollars. And again, just thank you for your partnership and hope that you take a look at the resolution and can support.
Appreciate you coming in. Any discussion, questions, comments? Close. Very easy then. Madam Clerk, would you please prompt the vote in favor of this resolution?
Loops?
Yes.
Okay, it's taken a minute this morning, everybody's thinking about it. You have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Awesome, thank you. And thank you for coming in and all the work that United Way does.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
everyone, good seeing everybody.
Good to see you. All right, our last regular agenda item before interviews, I would entertain a motion to recommend to the board item D, which is resolution supporting Senate Bills 401 through 404, the Michigan Voting Rights Act. Moved by Commissioner Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Gershenson. We don't have anyone here to talk about this, but and I know that I'm listed as the sponsor, but really it's Chair Woodward that's the sponsor of this one. But this is a resolution in support of 4 tie-barred bills in the legislature right now that would create basically a Michigan support act to complement the federal Voting Rights Act, because we've seen a few different court rulings that have started to chip away at the Federal Voting Rights Act from the 1960s. So this would create a Michigan Voting Rights Act. I guess I'll take a question. Anyone have any discussion points on this one?
I do have a question. If this is mirroring the federal law, why is it necessary?
Not mirroring, it's supplementing, I suppose, supplementing.
All right, what's an example of a discriminatory voting law? Do they exist in Michigan right now?
Many of them in the last year have been gotten rid of. I think, oh God, this is me giving a opinionated question instead of a policy. Well, I think
I'll take both.
An example of a discriminatory voting law would be in the state of Michigan if we required a ballot to be printed in just English. We have very considerable populations in Oakland County alone that speak Hindi, Mandarin. So allowing our clerks the flexibility to print a ballot in other languages, I think would be a really good instance of non-discriminatory voting laws. We don't have that law in Michigan, so that's not something that we have, but that would be a pretty discriminatory one.
So it's not really an issue in Michigan, that particular example?
That particular one is not an issue in Michigan.
Are there any that exist now that I should be aware of?
I'm sure that you and I could probably find some to disagree about.
He's trying to be
Well, no.
I really am.
Good job.
But I'm trying to understand if any exist right now, because there should be no discrimination.
I agree.
But I don't know
Why
what
we
your
need the Michigan
definition of discrimination is. Does it have to do with voter ID? Is that discriminatory?
I'm not.
I mean, does that exist now? I'm trying to understand what
In the state of
exists.
Michigan, you do have to present ID.
Okay.
To vote, yes.
I have
It's
to
on
do that to
affidavit.
cash a check,
Of course I
but
am, yeah.
need to get a CPL, but.
You know, it's okay. You can catch it. You can catch a check without an ID. I do it on my phone all the time.
Well, I'm not
Yeah, they do
that.
But you logged into your bank account.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
They've already vetted you, Brett.
Commissioner.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I don't know whether this is a problem in Michigan, but I have read stories in other states where people have had difficulty obtaining ID in states where perhaps you don't have that affidavit option. Fortunately, you do have that in Michigan. But some people who lack access to transportation or perhaps cannot get a copy of their birth certificate or some whatever documentation may have trouble actually getting a photo ID. I believe there's also issues, and I may be incorrect about this, with what photo ID is accepted. For instance, I've heard that there's instances where student IDs, even though they're a photo ID from a university, is not accepted, but a CPL license would be. So those might be examples of situations where there's no rhyme or reason why this ID is accepted and that one isn't, and it could potentially be a discriminatory thing. So just a suggestion of a
I appreciate it.
possibility.
Any other discussion on this?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if there's an issue right now that we should have these laws. I mean, they pass a lot of laws. I just don't know if there's an issue right now in Michigan.
You're concerned it's a solution in search of a problem?
It could be, that happens sometimes.
I'm gonna use that phrase.
It's a good phrase.
What's that?
I like
It's one
that
of my
phrase.
favorite
Yeah, that is a good one.
That's a
Lawyers
good
use that a
government
lot.
phrase. Seeing nothing else, Madam Clerk, would you please prompt the vote?
Gershenson
Yes.
and Johnson
Yes.
say yes. You have 5 yeas and 3 nays.
Awesome, thank you very much, everyone. All right, let's get into the interviews then. Who do we have?
Ready for Amanda?
Amanda Herzog is first. All right, folks, remember the drill from last time. We'll do seven.
Take a seat at the end.
Hello, welcome.
Hi.
We'll do 7 minutes and we're glad that you're here. If you want to just start with a brief elevator pitch, a little bit about you and the spot that you're applying for. And then we'll do some questions and answers real quick, but yeah, welcome to the board.
Thank you. So I'm Amanda Herzog. I've met most of you. My background is in environmental engineering. I'm very passionate about protecting natural resources and creating positive impacts, especially as it relates to public health. I've worked in a variety of sectors: academia, government, startup, and philanthropy. And it kind of buckets into strategic planning, project development, project implementation, and evaluation. Service has been a big part of my life, as all of you do. And so I was an Oakland County Parks and Recreation Commissioner. During my time on the board, we created an environmental sustainability committee that helped us with the 5-year rec plan, looking at KPIs around environmental sustainability. At the end of it, we were looking at responsible purchasing and how to do waste management at some of our events, like the county fair. I was also the chair of the Royal Oak Environmental Advisory Board for the past 6 years. We put together the Royal Oak Sustainability and Climate Action Plan. That plan has 6 categories: building and energy, waste, mobility, water, green space, and quality of life. Right now, we're in the implementation stage of that plan. We have a pilot going on right now at the farmers market to do more composting, residential composting, where people can drop off their compost, and we're looking at evaluating that for a community-wide program. And then I'm also a Royal Oak City Commissioner, and so I'm looking at ways to implement better environmental policies within the city.
Any questions from you?
What are you doing?
Commissioner. That's a valid question. We want folks to be well-rounded.
That's a good question. I asked that in all my interviews. Spare time or what's a hobby? What are your hobbies? Outside of everything you just said.
Well, I have
What do you do for fun?
For fun, I hang out with my 2 girls. I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and we do soccer and dance, and just kind of live life through a little kid size. It's really fun. So that's what I've been doing.
I think it's really important for adults to be reminded to be inspired about the world and to think creatively. And kids are a really great venue that we can do that.
Yes, I did tell them about this meeting today, and I was like, it's. I had to put it in their context of like composting, so they know about that. They're like, okay, good. And then I was like, plastic toys, little toys. We probably should be doing a little less of that. And they're like, you're gonna take away our toys? No.
Draw the line there, Mom.
Yep.
Commissioner Lutz.
My comment was, I'd like to talk to you about the composting outside of this interview. That is a really interesting project going on.
Yeah, so we are seeing great response to that, but there's a big education piece to getting why that's important and how to do it correctly. But I think the vision is to get it curbside at some point once the infrastructure is there.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? No?
I agree with you, Penny. Just the idea of people dropping off their composting.
Who picks? Yes, I know.
But it's fascinating. We're waiting for an update. Right.
I will say my partner lives in Ann Arbor and they do curbside
Yeah.
compost pickup, and it is so easy to have 1 bin for trash, 1 bin for recycling, 1 bin for compost, for yard waste, like small yard waste, for food waste, like it is just nice to have. So cool. But anything else you want to tell us? You've got 2 minutes, but.
We know everything.
All right.
Okay, well,
I'll
thank
give you your time back in your day.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
excited about this.
Just a timeline for your information. We'll probably be done with interviews late May, early June. I know that's like a long interview window, but it's a lot of positions, so just wanted to let you know.
Okay, great.
Good seeing you.
Nice seeing you guys. Thank you.
All right. Next, we've got David Rogers, who is applying for the solid waste disposal facility operator position.
And so Amanda was applying for which position?
She, the city elected official
City
position.
elected and.
You page down on the summary, it's.
Okay.
Morning.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
David, you've got about 7 minutes here. If you want to just open with a brief elevator pitch about yourself, and then we'll do some questions.
David Rogers, I'm the district manager at Eagle Valley Landfill for Waste Management. I'm been district manager there about 2 years come May. Prior to that, I managed our facility at Pine Tree Acres landfill on the east side for approximately 10 years at 29 Mile and Gratiot. Been around the solid waste industry for a very long time. Prior to Waste Management was a customer of mine for 17 years. I was involved with doing earthwork projects, building cells, construction of landfill caps, just general earthwork when I was at B&V Construction in Wixom, Michigan. Worked for Waste Management, worked for various other companies, St. Clair County at their landfill, hazardous waste landfill down in Belleville for EQ, quality company. I'm responsible for on a daily basis the operation of the facility at Silver Bell Road, as far as environmental compliance, financials, just the day-to-day safety and getting customers in and out of the landfill safely and efficiently.
Thank you. We're getting that road fixed. My parents live up that way, and I will
Yes.
tell you, okay, my God, it's like the surface of the moon.
They're supposed to start today, actually.
Oh, really? I'll go by.
Traffic's gonna be terrible.
Fair. Any questions, Commissioner?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So why are you interested in this position?
As a representative of Waste Management, we'd like to have some participation on the planning committee. We are one of the few facilities here in the county, and we'd like to have be able to participate and help the county out in this committee.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that, Commissioner Jolie.
Hi, this is a 5-year commitment. Do you foresee any challenges that you may have in fulfilling this?
I do not.
Okay, thank you.
Additional questions? What do you do for fun?
I sail and race sailboats out in Lake St. Clair. Done Port Huron and Macon race several times. Ski.
Water or snow?
Snow.
Uphill.
It's just you, Bob.
Also,
We also live out on Tall Lake, out by Oxbow Lake, so we pontoon and stuff on the lake and just general water sports and snow skiing.
pure Michigan of you.
Yeah.
Anything else? No? Well, thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Timeline wise, just to let you know, it's a pretty big interview window, so we'll probably be done with interviews late May, early June. We'll announce further steps back then, so.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thanks, David.
Next we have Skylar. If my Dutch is all right. Skylar Boots. Butsy. Skylar Butsy, who is also applying for solid waste disposal facility operator or a waste hauler.
Oh my God, they're so far away.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome, good morning.
Good morning. So we've got just about 7 minutes. If you want to start with an elevator pitch, kind of about yourself, and then we'll do some Q&A.
All right, so I'm Skylar Butsy. I graduated from The Ohio State University, so yes. Off to a bad start.
That's all yes votes.
But I did study environmental science there and specialized in ecosystem restoration. I knew pretty early on in my undergraduate studies that I wanted to go work in the corporate setting and in the waste industry, since it's an industry with a big impact. And I think that's why we're all here and why we're all being brought to this table, is that we're seeing the impact in the state of Michigan. So really excited to be hopefully on board. And yeah.
Q&A, Commissioner.
What drives you to be interested in this position?
In this position, so I worked with Priority for the Grand Prix. And so we received a gold award for our first year. And this upcoming event, we're going for the Evergreen Award from the Council for Responsible Sport. And so for the event, our first year going at it, we received a 49% recycling rate. And it was a very similar process that we'll be hopefully following here, where we had to come up with a written plan. We had, several companies on board. So we brought a lot of different people from a lot of different angles, and we were able to be successful. So I feel like I'm well versed in kind of the process of, reaching out to disposal sites, educating the people at the event to make sure everyone's aware of where materials are supposed to be going. So if we can achieve it at an event level, I'm confident we can also do that at a county level as well.
Commissioner Christensen.
So I must have missed something, but can you introduce yourself?
I'm so sorry. I didn't want to take any time away from Skylar. She's awesome. So I'm Matt Allen. I'm the Government Affairs for Priority Waste.
Okay.
And so part of the sustainability team. I mean, Skylar's going to be a representative hopefully here in Oakland County, but so many of our leaders live here in Oakland County. We also service Bloomfield Township and commercially in every corner of the county. So we're vested here. Many of us grew up here and are members of the community. Skylar lives in Berkeley. I live in Bloomfield. Our CEO lives in Bloomfield Township, so on and so forth. So I'm just here in case there's some absolute crazy weird question about the company, but Skylar's leading our efforts in benchmarking everything to sustainability.
Well, I live in Bloomfield Township as well.
Wonderful.
Thank you for that introduction, because one of my follow-up questions was, as I looking through your resume, I didn't see how you fit into a waste hauler or. So now that I can connect the dots, so I appreciate that. So you said hopefully she will be an employee. So is she not currently employed at Priority, or is she?
No, hopefully on this committee.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she's definitely employed with us. She's doing a fantastic job. She played it down a little bit with our sustainability project. We were working with the Urban Institute at the University of Michigan and also Google.
So now you get bonus points.
Yeah, Skylar gets the bonus. Yeah, she's terrific. We are so glad to have her. We found her. She was like a gem. We found her. Like, we're never letting her go. But I think she's gonna be a tremendous contributor to this process.
It's more of a comment than a question, but this wouldn't be your first time working at a county board level. I saw that on your resume. Can you just talk a little bit about what you did for that board?
For sure. So in my undergraduate, I did an internship with the Cuyahoga County Board of Health where I did their water sampling, stormwater water sampling program. So over the summer, we would go outfall to outfall, which is quite tedious work, seeing as there's over 3,000 outfalls in the county. But there was a whole group of us, and basically we were measuring the flow volume rate of the water coming out of the outfall. Because in a perfect utopian world, 3 days after a rain event, there shouldn't be any water coming out of the outfall. So we sampled that water to ensure it wasn't contaminated before it entered, public waterways.
And what is an outfall?
An outfall, perfect question, is basically a pipe that will lead to a public waterway, but typically the pipe is coming from a corporate setting or, private sector, so. Drainage, exactly, so.
Rainwater runoff, basically.
Yes.
Which, if you know anything about the Cuyahoga River, is
Exactly.
a pretty important
Yes.
thing.
As someone from Cleveland, we're very known for rivers catching on fire, so, yes. So it was a really interesting internship though, so I learned a lot.
Not recently, though, it's been cleaned up.
Yes, now, ever since I feel like the 1970s, there's definitely been a continuous trajectory towards everything getting better, but there's always, room for improvement, so.
All right, well, thank you very much.
You didn't ask the question.
Oh, I'm sorry, what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? I like to go hiking, which I feel like is a cliche answer for an environmentalist. But I like to go hiking and I like to do yoga and just, get outside as much as possible, honestly, so.
And yes, yesterday was a gorgeous day. I took my first long run of the year yesterday, so hopefully we get more warm stuff. But anything else? No? Timeline-wise, we're doing interviews through hopefully before the end of May, early June, but just wanted to let you know, we'll let you know in June next steps. But
perfect.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for your time, everyone. It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Take care.
You too.
Outstanding. The Ohio State University. Heard that next we've got Sherry.
Just wanna be sure it wasn't her dad.
Oh, Charlotte's next, okay.
I said, yeah, you're her dad.
Mentor.
So next, Rachel?
Who's next?
Rachel
Rachel.
Barlock.
Rachel Barlock.
Who's next?
Barlock, yep. Hi. Hi.
Y'all we're only 9 minutes behind now.
Okay.
Making up time?
We are.
At the very end?
Yes, head of the table.
Which you might notice from that end is a trapezoidal table, not a rectangular table.
It is.
It took me a while to notice that, but.
Okay.
Welcome.
Optical illusion.
Rachel, just an elevator pitch about you. We'll have 7 minutes, and then after your elevator pitch, just some Q&A.
Okay, sounds good. Hi, Rachel Barlock. I am a water resources engineer with the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, SEMCOG. One of my roles at SEMCOG has been facilitating materials management throughout the counties, the 7 counties in Southeast Michigan. My primary focus is climate resiliency and flooding mitigation, but we do a lot of sustainability work, and like I said, I have inherited the materials management role at SEMCOG.
Any questions? Comments?
How long have you been at SEMCOG? I'm sorry.
8 years.
8 years, okay.
Yeah.
And I'll
Since
ask,
junior high.
I'll ask, what do you do for fun outside of?
What do I do for fun? I like to travel. I like to quilt. Creative hobbies. Yeah, it's addicting. It's great.
Commissioner Gershenson.
Yes.
Is it? How long have you been with SEMCOG?
8 years.
8 years, okay. And has this role evolved, or was this your initial job with them?
No, so my main primary focus is climate resiliency as a water resources engineer. And then this is kind of one of the additional tasks that I've taken on in the past couple of years doing materials management. We had a county engagement grant through Eagle. And so we facilitated that group and completed that work on behalf of the 7 counties.
And so do you work with other agencies other than just SEMCOG on that work?
Just the counties, the county representatives.
Okay.
Commissioner Julia.
Hi, I don't know how much you've studied the materials management system in Oakland County, but in your view, can you make any recommendations on something to do to improve that, or thoughts that you have to improve that?
Sure. We tend to rely on the county representatives. So I've been working a lot with Whitney on the materials management work. But I think one of the things that we've found in doing that materials management county engagement grant is that there doesn't seem to be a standardized way to collect information across all of the region or even the state. So I think getting more information from Eagle or working together as a coalition of counties is what we're trying to do right now, to get kind of a standard procedure for collecting information so that those baselines are all the same when we're trying to meet those requirements in Part 115, to be able to say, oh yeah, we did a 20% reduction, but if our baselines are all different across agencies, it's hard to compare. So I think working to understand how to get a standardized baseline is the first answer to your question.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, discussion. I'm just curious, are you originally from Southeast Michigan? I know you spent a lot of time in the UP.
Yes, I am from the UP originally.
You are, okay.
Yep. The western end near the Porcupine Mountains, basically.
I have to ask you $1 million question. Green Bay Packer fan or Lions fan?
Green Bay Packer.
At least she has a chutzpah to admit it here, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I actually learned that the reason that so many of us in the western end of the UP are Packer fans is because when football was starting to kind of broadcast, only the local channels would broadcast it. So the only local channel we could get was Wisconsin. No, yeah, because my parents still live up there, and it's exact opposite end of the state. It's like 11-hour drive to get up there. So yeah, but I've been in Southeast Michigan for 11 years.
I would say we don't help it out either, because that's central time zone up in that part of the UP too.
Oh, wow.
We bring the time zone quite a bit in.
Yep.
Up there, so and I have thoughts about that.
Yeah, but I jumped on the bandwagon with the Lions. I'll cheer for the local team.
All right,
Absolutely.
Saved yourself there.
You know where Ripley is?
Mount Ripley?
Well,
Or Ripley.
little town.
I feel
Are you
like
Hancock and Houghton area?
that's where I went to college.
Oh, okay, it's still
Yeah.
snowing up there, I think.
Yeah.
Where are you from up north then?
I'm from the western end, so about an hour and a half west of the Houghton Hancock area, Ontonagon County.
Oh, okay.
Is
Thank
that
you.
near Isle Royale?
Isle Royal, you have to get to it from the Keweenaw, but it's about a 3-hour boat ride. It's closer to Minnesota, actually. I have never been.
Really, one of the most beautiful places in the world.
Yeah. I have plans to go next summer with a friend. We're gonna take the seaplane to get there, so.
Faster route. My only other question, you love traveling, what's next on your list?
Next on my list, I'm going to Paris for the Olympics.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince my wife to go.
Yeah, I'm really excited. A
And I'm really
big
jealous.
answer.
Seriously, through people.
Anything else? All right, thank you very much. Timeline wise, we're doing interviews through the end of June, or sorry, the end of May, early
Okay.
June. So expect to hear back in June.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody.
coming in. Nice
Thanks
to
for
meet
letting
you.
me talk about the UP and not disowning me for being a Packer. Have a great day.
You too. Take care.
We've had a Buckeye and a Packers fan here.
Oh, watch out. All right, we've got Rosalind Grafstein, Mayor Grafstein is next.
Hi.
Y'all, we are cutting it down.
Grafstein?
Yes. Hello, welcome. Just pop a squat at the head of the table right there. We'll do about 7 minutes if you wanna just do a brief elevator pitch about yourself and the position, and then we'll do some Q&A. We try to keep it fun. These have been fun today, so.
Okay, sure. Rosalind Grafstein, I'm the mayor of Madison Heights. I've been the mayor for about 3.5 years. I've been on council for about 6.5 years. I rebooted our environmental citizens committee when I first came on, and we started a whole tree project, which is continuing. I'm from Toronto, and when I moved from Toronto about 20 years ago, they had just introduced the green bin, which is food compost. And so that's one thing that our city doesn't have. I know, I think Royal Oak has it and Ferndale has it, but it's something that I'm interested in. So when I saw this, I feel like I did this in like October, November, like months ago. I saw this and I thought, oh, okay, something at the county level. This would be really cool. I would love to do something with this. I have 3 composters in my backyard. I had chickens many, many years ago, which were live composters, as I called them. You feed them and then they give you food, and if they don't give you food, they give you fertilizer for your plants. Super quick, 24-hour turnaround. And then I also introduced food composting to the elementary school, again, like 10, 15 years ago, so after lunch, the 3rd graders would take the food scraps and they would put them into a composter that we had a business donate. So that's kind of my compost garbage background. I'm not sure what else you want to know. I'm sort of focusing on that. And I can talk about worms all day because I also had worm bins at one point. Again, worked with the schools with the worm bins too, so.
Well, that's really neat. Commissioner, I saw your hand go up.
Oh, no, I was just scratching my ear.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'll bite. What's a worm bin?
Oh, okay, so you can get a book actually, as a woman from Michigan actually has a book out. So a worm bin is, think of a sieve, okay? So you pour the water and the water goes through, but if you put pasta into it, the pasta stays, right? The holes are just big enough that a worm can go through it. So you put a whole bunch of sieves on top of each other, and you put in food, and you put worms in, and the worms will eat, and then they will create waste. And the waste will eventually go down. So you put food on top and the worms go up. And at the very bottom, there's different kinds of worm bins, they can be fancy or not, but then you have a spigot. And what happens is all of the waste product goes into that. You can probably go to Home Depot or Lowe's right now and buy worm castings. So that's what a worm bin is. It takes, I think it's half a pound of, I think you could put in half a pound of food a day, something like that. I haven't had one for a long time.
But you buy them. You buy a worm bin or you make it?
You can do either. I bought a worm bin. Somebody gave me a worm bin. I gave one to the school. Somehow it disappeared from the school. I don't know who would want to steal a worm bin, but it was really cool because I went in with the kids and so they had, we had a snack, it was like bananas or something. And so then we put the banana peels on there. But you need to have a mix of green, which is plants or food or something like that you can see color, more or less. And then you need what they call your browns. And so that would be wood or paper. Worms have to have both. I mean, some people make really simple ones. I've heard of people who just have them on their desk for coffee grounds. So
Penny.
Mine were like, I don't know, like this big, I had like 4 trays, I think. So they can get messy. I actually had my worm bin in my basement, and the one thing I couldn't give them were eggshells. Eggshells are horrible to compost. I have eggshells that have been sitting around forever, so I've got my 3 composters, so I use this one, put stuff in, and once it gets full, I start using this one. You let this one cook for 3 months usually, and then you fill up this one, that kind of thing. So when I got my 3rd one, I turned that one into my eggshell and harder to decompose. So if you have coconut shells take forever to decompose, and so I have a coconut shell that I've been passing back and forth because it doesn't go down. That was not a clear question, but yeah, that was the worm bins. I didn't have coconut shells with the worm bins, but I realized that they would not eat the eggshells. So, does that answer it?
Yeah, that's good.
Interesting. Any other questions, comments? Commissioner?
Let's be consistent. So what do you do in your free time? What do you do for fun?
I go walking, I go biking, I garden, hang out with friends, I listen to music, read.
What are you reading right now?
What am I reading right now? I've just started, but it's The Unsettling of America. And it's basically how, I guess when everyone came here and started settling America and all the different changes that took place. I've read like 3 pages, so I've just started that.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think of what the book was I just returned to the library. I gotta think of what it was.
A glowing review of that book. Thank you. You got
One follow-up.
Yeah.
Being from Toronto,
I'm from Toronto, yes.
are you a Leafs fan or a Red Wings fan?
So when I moved here 20 years ago, during the hockey strike,
Oh, yeah.
everyone said, I can't believe that you're leaving and you're moving to the States. Oh, you're going to Detroit. Okay, well, at least that's Hockey Town.
So it's just fine.
She danced around it.
A very diplomatic
Yeah,
answer.
she danced around it, which is fine.
Well, so for about 2 years, I didn't watch any hockey and I was mad at all hockey players.
Fair.
Fair enough.
Any other things? No? Timeline wise, it's a long interview process. As you said, you applied in October, which sounds about right for this. So we aim to be done by the end of May, early June, and then we'll actually prop it up June, July. So expect to hear from us then.
All right, awesome. And you have my number, email if you have any questions.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We just have one more today. This is John Kendall. He's applying for the solid waste disposal facility operator or the waste hauler positions. John, welcome.
So you saved the best for last?
We absolutely. If you'll just pop a squat at the front
Head
of
of
the
the table, please.
And by
Yep, it's the rule.
This is a fun committee, damn it. We just got about 7 minutes. If you just want to start with an elevator pitch about yourself, and then we'll do Q&A after that.
Sure, I'm John Kevin Kendall. I've been a resident of Oakland County since 1990 when my family and I moved here. My children, grandchildren, we all reside in Oakland County. I've been in the solid waste industry with Republic Services for 41 years. I've served the last 8 years as president of the Michigan Waste and Recycle Association. I've got a lot of experience dealing with Eagle and different issues that have come up across 40 years, the majority of which has been here in Southeast Michigan. Spent most of my career running all of Republic's operations in Southeast Michigan. I'm real familiar with landfills, material recovery facilities, hauling operations. I've served on the Solid Waste Planning Committee, 2 sessions, or two whatever.
With us?
Well, yeah, with Oakland County. One of them, we actually did things. The other one, I don't think we even met during that period.
Is that when Bob was on it?
Maybe.
No, we met once, when we did Rizzo's transfer at the
Oh, you're
Fisher
right,
Body
yeah.
Plant.
Yeah, hey, Bob, how are you?
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. So, I'm very experienced. I'm passionate about all things related to recycling and solid waste, and would be honored to serve again.
Awesome, thank you. Commissioner?
So what are some of the main cities that Republic services?
In
Oakland County, in Oakland County.
In Oakland County, we don't do a lot of residential collection in Oakland County any longer. We sold. We did, yeah, we did a lot. And, you know, it was a business issue, but we sold our Oakland County operations, if you wanna call it that, to Rizzo years ago. I mean, honestly, the pricing, it just was a business decision that we made. So now in Oakland County, our business is primarily all commercial and industrial. We still service Oxford, but we service that out of our Flint operation. You know, in my current capacity, I'm serving as a municipal manager. So I have 88 municipal contracts I'm responsible for, but they're all basically served out of our Flint and Pinconning operation. And luckily for me, I have an office here in Pontiac, in Highwood, that I worked out of for years, and it's only 7 miles from my home, so I spend most of my time in Pontiac, but, you know, like tomorrow I'll be up in Flint and taking care of business up there.
Thank you.
Commissioner Juliet.
So you've said you've sat on this committee, you have been a member. Do you see any improvements that can be made?
As far as solid waste or materials management?
Yes.
Well, sure. I mean, there's, you know, it's a new opportunity. I mean, to move the county forward with recycling and with materials management and beneficial reuse of products and materials. And that's what the whole planning concept's about. You know, I've been intimately involved with Eagle it took us 8 years to get through the revisions to Part 115. So yeah, no, I think there's gonna be a big emphasis placed on recycling. You know, Republic right now operates the only full-fledged single-stream MRF in Oakland County. We operate that for RASOC at the time. You know, we have a contract to do that for them, and then we market our excess capacity there. That's, you know, I mean, those would be the opportunity. We're gonna have to get compliant with the goals and the benchmark standards that have been established, you know, for recycling.
Thank you.
Luckily, Oakland County, though, is pretty progressive as far as recycling goes compared to other parts of the state that I've been familiarized with in my role right now.
It's good to hear.
Any discussion? Commissioner?
No, good.
What do you do for fun?
For fun?
Yeah.
You know, I spend probably most of my time with my kids and grandkids. I got 4 grandchildren, lots of friends. My wife and I have been in the Rochester area since 1990, so we've got a big network of friends. I like to play golf. I had 2 knees replaced, so I'm probably not as agile at it as I used to be, but I still like to get out there and play golf. And yeah, I just spend a lot of time with family and friends.
Appreciate it. Rochester's a great spot to live.
Yeah, it is. It has been.
Yeah.
You're biased.
I am. It's my hometown.
Okay.
Anything else? No? Timeline wise, it's been a long process, so we're aiming to be done with the interviews by the end of May. So hopefully early June, you'll hear back from us.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And folks, that concludes item.
I do have a general question.
Oh, sure.
We're taping all this, right?
Yeah.
Assuming we are.
Well, yes.
Okay.
I believe.
Yes.
I have a good memory, but it might not be that good since it's gonna take till May.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Can we, Pam, get a list of each position with the names of the people that have applied?
It is, oh gosh, there are so many attachments. There is a chart.
Yeah, there is a chart attached to the item.
It's the MMP committee applicants list 452024.
Oh,
The
okay.
second item down.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So today we heard from the bolded names. Yes, we heard from the bolded names today. But it is a lot of names and a lot of different positions,
Wow, so are we done?
No, we've only done the easy ones.
We've only just begun.
So,
Because you're gonna have to go back
And I've started making notes on
How
here.
many more?
so the only, last time we did unopposed people. Today we did the rest of the unopposed people and the 2 like relatively easy multiple applicant categories. But we've got those hyper-competitive categories yet to go. So
Okay.
I was trying to keep those at least fresh in our
The
minds, but
interest is because they're now renewing the plan so there actually is gonna be work for this committee.
there will actually be work for the committee. I would push back on the word renew. It's sort of like recreate.
Recreate,
Yeah.
okay. So there is work.
Yes.
So when do we get to interview Mr. Bob Hoffman?
That's a great
Bring
question.
your lunch,
Save your time, Bob.
bring your
So
lunch and
there are
some
people
wine.
that have been interviewed that aren't highlighted, not today, but before.
Correct.
Okay, so I guess where do we stand with?
I believe we have the environmental interest group rep still to go. We have the waste, well, no, some of the waste haulers still to go, right? Because we heard from John and Skylar who have been applying for multiple things.
Yep.
And then we've got the composting anaerobic digester facility.
Cause like I know for the waste hauler, like we've already interviewed Adam Christensen.
I don't think we
No, we
did.
did not.
We didn't,
Yeah, we did. He came in and talked.
No, we didn't.
I don't remember.
I don't think Adam did.
I remember,
Did he?
well, all right, I remember interview, I'm gonna find that.
I don't remember
Send it to
doing
you.
I know the name.
You did.
It's impressive, Karen, that you remember that.
Well, he was in my district and then there was just an issue in Waterford.
Did we?
And I'm like, no, I totally remember him applying and coming in and interviewing.
That's why we need the tapes.
We might have. Yeah, we did.
That might
I'm
be
gonna
it
find it,
too.
I'm gonna show you.
You show me.
I will.
Needless to say, I need to study up before we
Yeah.
have that discussion. Yes.
You have a lot of info.
Yeah, I've been
It's been
making
a
notes
while.
on it.
Yeah.
But, you know, we could be running together with when he came in
Howard
before
Yeah.
something
How are we
So-
doing on
Just a
finding
couple
a
months
township
ago.
elected
And you could be
official
right.
since our one candidate dropped out?
Not great. And on that note, was there another one that was in danger of dropping too, you were saying?
Dan Smith. And Whitney Keeley's with us too, if she wants to comment, but she had talked to him, it's my understanding she had talked with him and.
Yeah, someone mentioned Whitney, someone had been working with Whitney.
She just popped up. There you
It's
go.
Whitney.
Hi, Whitney.
Hi, Commissioners. Thank you. Yep, I did speak with Dan Smith. He's concerned about the time commitment for what we anticipate the planning committee will be taking, at least initially, as we're developing the plan. So he seemed to me like he was going to drop, and I asked him to let Pam know that officially if he was planning to remove his name from consideration. So we will need another, he was the only applicant we had in that slot, which is the generator of a managed material. So that's something that maybe in a manufacturing type facility, someone that produces a stream or multiple streams of waste materials that will need to be managed, whether those are metal, plastic, chemicals, paper, any of those types of things. So we'd certainly be, looking to you if you have facilities or companies that you work with in your districts that you might want to recommend. That would be great to get someone. We're working on that in our office too, trying to see who we work with or any others that might be recommended. So we're working on that.
Managed material. As opposed to like somebody just throwing away paper, I'm assuming it's something that's regulated, is that correct?
Yeah, I actually don't know. Was it oh yeah, okay. These are powerful mics.
How do we define managed material? So I can.
So really there are categories in the statute, but it can really be any of those major categories. It could be, like I said, it could be paper, it could be plastic, it could be metal shavings, just materials that can be managed in a manner that isn't just landfilling. So, and that's part of our process going into this plan, that we're going to be identifying the materials and then, trying to find good outlets and connect businesses that can use them, finding ways to utilize those materials as opposed to landfilling them.
So we would be looking for a business that is focused on not landfilling their waste or
Sure.
not to landfill all of their waste.
Yeah, if they have streams and it makes more sense and they're interested in finding an outlet, whether that's a recycling facility or connecting with another business that could utilize that waste somehow in their process, that's what we would be looking for.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Whitney,
Thanks.
appreciate it. Anything else on this? All right, well, we'll move on then. Anyone from the public wishing to address us on anything at all? No, no one is. Anything from any of you? No? All right, well, have fun, everyone.
Thank you.